teens out here in Hanover and Chesterfield early this morning. Now we're in the lower 20s, and some of us, West Point, Williamsburg, starting to get
November
up to
the
23rd.
23rd.
So the sun is up.
Think about the homeless.
Wind kicking in. Temperatures are going to warm nicely. It'll be cooler than average, but warmer than we were yesterday. Upper 40s at the noon hour, and then climbing up to about 50. If you can't stick around for your full forecast, which I will have here in just a few moments, be sure that you check out our First Warning Weather app. This is a must. If you're going to do any outdoor shopping today, maybe you're headed out to Short Pump and you want to check that temperature and that wind before you brave the stores, do it on our First Warning Weather app. It is free. Just search NBC 12 in the App Store. All right, thanks, Sam. We're following breaking news in North Chesterfield. A car hits a power pole, leaving thousands of people in the dark. Police tell us a teenage driver lost control of the car and ran off the road. Now that teen faces a long list of charges, including driving intoxicated, grand larceny, and underage firearm possession. All of this happened around 10 o'clock last night on Centralia Road, Iron
he'll get off.
Crews worked through the night to get the power back on for Dominion customers. At one point, nearly 3,500 customers were without power.
Oh, my God.
And this morning, some residents at a Henrico apartment complex need to find a new place to stay.
Oh,
right now, crews are investigating a suspicious fire at the Treehouse apartment complex. It started around 6 o'clock Friday evening when crews got a call about smoke pouring from a mailbox in the lobby of an apartment building in the 5900 block of Queensthorpe Court. No one was hurt and no word yet on how the fire started in the mailbox. And now to Richmond, where the man on death row for murdering an entire family is suing, claiming he's suffering under cruel and unusual punishment. Ricky Gray was convicted of killing the Harvey family and setting their Woodland Heights home on fire back in 2006. He's one of 5 Virginia death row inmates challenging their solitary confinement. Our Chris Thomas spoke to friends of the Harvey family, and he has more.
Many Richmonders will never forget the vicious murder of Brian and Catherine Harvey, along with their 2 little girls, Ruby and Stella.
Oh, just the saddest thing you could ever think of.
The killing spree continued with the murders of the Tucker family, including their daughter, Ashley Baskerville, an accomplice in the Harveys' murder.
Just the worst, unconceivable.
And now the killer, Ricky Gray, suing over what he calls awful conditions on death row.
They just killed all those people. How can they file a lawsuit? That's ridiculous.
Gray complains he spends 23 hours a day in solitary confinement, calling it cruel and unusual punishment and psychological torture. According to this lawsuit, the inmates are not allowed out to use the gym or attend a religious service, and they must have no contact visits with family.
Yes, you sentence us to death, but you're not allowed to torture us in the meantime. That's what they're saying in this lawsuit.
NBC 12 legal analyst Steve Benjamin notes one death row inmate successfully challenged automatic solitary confinement 2 years ago.
Nobody has any sympathy whatsoever for Ricky Gray. What he did was horrific. But the law draws a line, the same line that civilized society draws, to automatically put people in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day for years on end.
Which is the practice right now.
That's right, that is the practice. The law says that goes too far.
You just can't bring yourself to even talk about it.
No.
Thea Brown called Catherine Harvey a friend and is now general manager of the family store World of Mirth in Carytown.
We lost so many people because of those 2 men. You know, it's almost 10 years later and we're all still dealing with it.
It's just one more reason some say Ricky Gray's death can't come soon enough.
I don't believe in capital punishment, but in this case, please go ahead.
Chris Thomas, NBC 12 News.
The Attorney General's office is reviewing this lawsuit, so we'll let you know as soon as we get a response. In a couple of hours, there will be another protest on the University of Virginia campus to bring awareness to what's being called a culture of rape.
Yes,
this comes
it
after
is.
students took part in what they call
I
a
was
slut
raped.
walk.
It is terrible.
More than 200 students rallied to show support for women's rights and outrage against sexual assault on Friday.
Tell it,
Slut Walk
girls.
is actually
Don't
a
hold
national
it for
movement that
long
aims to
years
empower
like I
women
did. Tell
and
it.
encourage them to stand
And
up
tell
against sexual
who did
violence
it.
and rape. Students say they're also protesting how school administrators are dealing with sexual assaults on campus, an issue ignited by a recent Rolling Stone article.
Things need to change, and if no one's going to do anything, we're going to do something.
As a mother, I'm just so sad that these students are dealing
Most
with
of the
cold
judges are
realities
men.
of
They
our
got
world.
penises. They
The
don't
protest
care.
is at 11 o'clock this morning on the Beta Bridge.
Tell
And we
it.
have confirmed that Charlottesville police are investigating the 2012 rape allegation profiled by Rolling Stone magazine. The victim, a current UVA student, says she was gang raped at a fraternity house.
Oh my God.
Well, this next story has sparked a debate on our Facebook page. A Henrico teen is in trouble with the law after he says he was defending himself from bullies. We were the first ones to tell you about 14-year-old Eric Martin's story when he was hospitalized after a fight at Highland Springs High School. He and another student were both found guilty of misdemeanor assault. Yet despite his conviction, Martin is urging others who are being bullied to stand up for themselves.
Stand up, that's right.
Don't take yourself away from
And
this
a lot
world.
of people.
Don't ever think about it because hopefully it'll get better and you don't have to go through this.
That's
Stand up for
right.
yourself.
And a lot
Martin,
of it is
who
the
suffered a
teachers.
traumatic brain injury in the fight,
Elaine
did have
Dunn,
one assault charge
Carolyn
dismissed.
Slaughter.
As part of his
All
punishment,
of them
Eric will
think
be
it's a
monitored
joke.
for 6 months and must attend
And
anger
still work for
management.
the school
If he
board
does, the
probably.
judge could drop the remaining charge. Horror on a Henrico man's Facebook feed when he sees a terrifying ISIS execution and Facebook refuses to take down that video. The images are profoundly disturbing, and of course we are not showing the actual shootings on air. Our Mike Valerio, though, has watched the video and reached out to Facebook to get answers.
They are militiamen fighting ISIS, kneeling on the ground in their gray uniforms with guns drawn behind them. ISIS fighters say, "Hala Mumtaz," or "How wonderful," about what is set to unfold.
Then they just opened fire.
Eric Heil discovered the terrifying video this morning after an acquaintance pointed it out, shocked that Facebook had not removed it.
These people are bleeding
Oh,
out.
they ain't gonna take
I mean,
things
they're
off they should,
being
but
shot
they take
multiple
off
times
the
in head,
truth.
and then you see the whole firing line just back up, and fully automatic AK-47s, 9mm, 45 handguns just unloading full clips on this line of people. It was horrifying.
Without hesitating, Eric's next move was to flag the video, and within a half hour, this response from Facebook. The video would not be removed. And when we move to the explanation below, Facebook writes, quote, "We reviewed the video you reported for containing graphic violence and found it doesn't violate our community standards."
So
I
Facebook
immediately
wrong
thought
as
full on
hell with a
side,
lot of
and
stuff.
Just the next best thing was to expose Facebook.
That's
In an email,
right.
We asked Facebook for a more
That's
thorough
what I
response
did yesterday,
and how a
expose
terrorist
Facebook.
execution video doesn't constitute graphic violence.
It doesn't seem like anybody really reviewed it. I mean, if they saw the nature of the video, why wouldn't they want it off their site?
For now, the video is still online for the slaughter to see by anyone. Mike Valerio, NBC 12 News.
Now, that video was posted by a user from Indonesia. There are comments that have asked him to take it down, so we'll let you know what Facebook says. This next story has sparked debate on our Facebook page. A Henrico teen in trouble with the law. Actually, we've already talked about that story, so let's move on. Convicted murderer George Hughley will not get a retrial on his second-degree